everyone, welcome back to my channel. For those new here, hi, my name's Jenny. I'm a third-year family medicine resident and a mom of two. So recently, when I say recently, I mean yesterday, NBME came out with a statement that said that they are changing step 1 to pass or fail. So I'm here to give you my opinions and thought process on this change and how it can possibly affect you guys in the future. So if you guys are interested, then keep on watching. If you guys are watching this video, you probably already know the whole process of step 1 and board exams. So I want to tell you more about the application process to residencies and matching and like the interview process. So disclaimer, as a resident, I do help in the process of interviewing and ranking medical students for the match, but I don't make like the final decision on everything because it's a match system, right? So the preceptors and the directors have the final say in the rank list, but we as residents also submit a rank list of the residents, or not the residents, the med students that we want. So residency applications is very similar, if you can imagine, to medical school application process. So with medical school, you had your MCAT and your CV and your personal statement, things like that. Same with residency. So when you apply to residencies, you have what school you went to, your class rank, your hobbies, your research, your volunteer work, your leadership, lots of things, like your letters of recommendation. So along with these board scores, you put that in a nice little package and send it to residencies for them to review and possibly, hopefully, give you an interview. So that's where you would shine. So with the application process, there's objective data and then there's subjective data. So objective meaning that it's a standardized metric. So these board scores where everybody takes the same test and is graded the same, that is an objective metric. Subjective, though, there's lots of those in your application process, including, like letters of recommendation, class rank is pretty subjective, honors is pretty subjective, just because you don't have a standard. A lot of medical schools are different. A lot of them are pass-fail in courses already. And so it's hard to compare medical schools when they don't grade you the same. So I would say that those metrics are very subjective. So now that they have changed step 1 to pass or fail, what will residencies be looking at? I can only suspect that they will be looking more at like your clinicals, hopefully, and how you performed in like your 3rd or 4th years of medical school, because that's more indicative of who you will become as a doctor. Step 1 is a very poor indication of what kind of doctor you will become, because it's all like basic sciences. Step 2 has more clinical relevance, and so I suspect that they will be like looking at that more heavily, but at the same time it's because they don't have a step 1 score to look at. And then also like your audition rotations and your research opportunities and the type of med school that you went to. So that being said, how will this affect you as a med student applying to residencies? And so if you're an MD student from a prestigious school, has research, I don't think this will affect you at all. So who will this be affecting? I personally believe that this will be affecting DO students and international medical graduates. So step 1, as I said, everybody takes step 1. It's a standardized test. So if you have, like, say, a medical student from Harvard and he got a certain score, and then an international medical graduate took the same board exam and got the same score, you're like, oh, hey, they have the same like basic knowledge. Then if you change the test to pass or fail, then you have this, Harvard graduate, and then you have this Caribbean school medical student. I'm just worried that people will have a bias that says that this Ivy League medical student has more knowledge than a Caribbean school student who is applying to the same position. Same with DO schools. Some would argue that they'll look more at audition rotations. And yes, that's right. There's a way to shine during audition rotations, and I think it's great. But the thing that you have to see is that audition rotation slots are very, very limited. Usually there's like one auditioning student every 2 weeks of the year, so that's probably like 8 students at each program, and so there's very limited spots to try to get an audition. And some places like emergency medicine require you to have a step score so they can screen who they would take. So my concern is that now they'll be looking at things even more not related to how you will become a doctor or who you, like what kind of doctor you will be in the future. And that includes the type of medical school you went to, the research opportunities that was available to you through your school, maybe MCAT, I don't know, undergrad, I don't know, but definitely like the type of school you went to, right? People will say that maybe they will look more heavily on step 2, but when applying to residencies, a lot of people don't even take step 2. Like they don't have a step 2 score, you know, so there's like no score to compare. It's just like a pass, the school you went to, possibly your class rank, but those are all subjective. And so I feel like there's this data point that you're just removing to help look at medical students as a whole. And also you're at a disadvantage if you, like, say you had a step 1 score and you significantly improved on a step 2 score. It shows like growth, and without that numeric first baseline, changing it to pass or fail, you don't see that trajectory. And so that's another data point that is being lost and possibly puts you at a disadvantage. So that is my worry. So my hope is that residencies will interview more broadly, but then at the same time, it's like when you're interviewing, it's just one day. So how do you know like this person is going to be best fitted for your program if you only see them for like one day, right? It's kind of like going on a date and only having one date and having to decide if you want to spend the next 3 to 6 years with this person. It's kind of hard, right? Because you need more objective data. The more information you have per student, the better it will help you to differentiate the two. So I personally feel like this is going to affect my people, the DO students, then the international medical graduates. And they're going to look at obviously other data points that are more subjective. So that is my thought process. I'm trying to be optimistic about this and thinking that hopefully it will decrease medical student burnout. It will help students really find interest in the subspecialty that they want, rather than having this one board score determine what kind of future they will have. But my concern is that it's only benefiting the rich people who can afford to go to an Ivy League school, or, you know, who had better opportunities, and based on a name instead of objective data. Like, that is just my personal opinion. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments section below. Let me know if I missed anything. If you haven't already, please subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Remember, you jump right here and then you roll?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Oh my goodness. Are you okay, Wyatt?
No, all day I'm rolling.
You rolling?
Yeah.
Okay, careful.
No, I'm rolling.
Yeah, you need to roll, not dive at first. Roll it.
Uh-oh, Wyatt.